Hey all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new DC Multiverse Justice League Snyder Cut Armored Darkseid figure from McFarlane Toys. Now the figure comes in the same standardized packaging we see with all the DC Multiverse figures. It is a large mega figure, so the packaging is larger than a regular figure. It is also a gold label figure released exclusively at Target stores, so you do have the gold label up there in the corner. The figure is clearly displayed. You've got the DC Multiverse logo and the name of the character down below. You also have the Justice League 2021 logo, because it is for the Snyder Cut movie. On the sides, nothing spectacular, just the name of the character. On the back, you have an image of Darkseid. It's the same as the art card that's included with the figure. And then down below, you have a look at other figures released in the line. All right, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now the only accessory that this figure comes with is this battle staff that you see him use in the flashback scene when he first comes to Earth and he's fighting all the Amazonians and Atlanteans and Inhumans and stuff. So this has a metallic silver with some nice sculpting detail. You also have some nice wash, so it actually looks like it's a metal staff. It is actually made with a kind of a softer rubber material, so it does have some flexibility. It does come out of the packaging fairly straight though, so at least with mine it wasn't like warped or bent or anything. And you don't have to worry about the blades snapping off, these tips snapping off or anything, because they are done with a softer plastic. And even though, when he's wearing the full armor like this particular figure, he doesn't have this staff. It would have been cool maybe if they had thrown in something extra like I-beam effects and then just kept this one to the regular release. But I guess that for cost-saving measures, they just included the same accessories with both figures. Now the figure will only hold the staff in the right hand. The left hand is open, and you only get the right hand as a grip hand. And he will hold it nice and tight. However, when you're first trying to get him to hold the staff, you may actually need to take something like a hairdryer to loosen up the plastic on the hand, because it is a very tight grip and it's a very hard plastic that they use with the fingers. I was able to pry it open enough, the hand enough, to get it in there without a dryer, but it was not easy the first time. So it probably would be just easier if you heat up that hand a little bit and then stick it in there. But once you get it in there, he does hold it nice and tight. But as I said, you can only have him hold it in the right hand, not the left. Now for the figure itself. So overall, I think this is a fairly nice and accurate looking figure to how Darkseid looks in the Snyder Cut movie. The armor is a rubber type material. And one thing I do want to note is this blue paint does have a tendency, at least with mine, to rub off on your hands or anything it touches. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but with the white paper here, I've got blue markings all over where I've been, having the figure stand. So, and even though I've been handling the figure for a while, when I first took it out of the packaging and was handling it, I literally had to go wash my hands off because I had enough blue paint that had rubbed onto it. You can see, like here, even just now, I got a little blue paint on my hand. So that is something to be wary of. I don't know if that's going to be the case with all figures, but I suspect it's because the blue paint is not adhering to this rubber material that great. Now, one other big issue I've had with this figure that's annoying is with the right arm. Anytime I move it, it just has this tendency to come off here at the bicep. I don't know if this was originally intended to be a Build-A-Figure or something, but this, at least on my figure, this right arm does not stay attached very well. Anytime I've tried to move it or pose it or get him to hold the staff, it just comes right off. So it pops right back into place, but it just gets kind of annoying every time you try and pose it, and that pops off on you. I've not had an issue with it on the left arm, so it only seems to be an issue on mine with the right. But just to note that with mine, it's definitely kind of a pain. Now, the overall sculpting detail of the figure, in my opinion, is really nice. They did a top-notch job in regards to that, so I really like this head sculpt. I think they've done a great job of capturing the look of Darkseid here. And I even like with the eyes, in the movie his eyes glowed yellow a lot of the time. And even though, and it maybe doesn't even show up very well here, but I found, in certain lights, the eyes seem to kind of pick up the light and almost glisten a bit, kind of giving you that glow effect. So I like that detail. You've got the black around the eye pupils, so that helps the eyes stand out a bit more. I like with all the gray skin throughout the figure, you've got all those nice little sculpting detail with the cracks and wrinkles and stuff to give you that overall feel of Darkseid. So I think they've done a good job with that. But this head sculpt definitely is top notch. It definitely captures the look of Darkseid from the movie. And, so I think they've done a great job with that. And then again, throughout the figure with the gray portions of the skin, you just have nice detailing. Paint apps are pretty nice as well. You've got kind of a darker wash throughout. So again, it just kind of gives you that overall look and feel of Darkseid. And then you get down to the hands, and they do look a bit cleaner. But overall, I think they've done a good job with the skin. And then looking at the armor, I think they've also done a pretty good job. And in the movie, I felt like the armor looked very CGI-ish, which, I don't necessarily think was a bad thing. And I think the way they've textured the armor pieces with the sculpting detail, it actually captures that effect quite nicely. And even on the boots themselves, again, with that texturing, it's captured the look overall pretty good. Now with these armor pieces here on the leg, these are actually harder plastic that are sculpted on the leg. And then I do want to note, I do have some blue. This is probably, amazingly, this is probably the only area on my figure where I can notice a little bit of blue that is rubbed off on the skin. Oh, and on the chest, you still have that indentation of the Omega symbol on there, just like you do with the regular version. Obviously, it shows up a lot more on the version that doesn't have the shirt, doesn't have the armor over it, but it is still on there, and, again, pretty accurate to what we saw in the movie. Okay, now this figure stands around 9.5 inches tall. Again, it is a mega figure, so it is bigger than a normal DC Multiverse 7-inch scale figure. Okay, and then for just a couple of comparisons. So first of all, here is a look at the Mezco 112 Collective Darkseid figure, and you can see that this McFarlane one is much taller. Here is the McFarlane Toy Steppenwolf figure, which is also a mega figure released in the same line, and Darkseid is taller than Steppenwolf. And then finally, here's the McFarlane Toys Superman figure in the black suit, and again, of course, Darkseid is much taller. Okay, now let's go over articulation for this figure. So he can turn his head, he can rotate it all the way around. He doesn't have a whole lot in the way of down movement. He can look up only a little bit as well. He can look up about that much, and then you can pivot the head to the left and to the right. Now with the arms, he can get his arm out pretty good there, and he's got good rotation there at the shoulder. He does not have like a butterfly joint or anything. Now he's also got the bicep swivel, so good rotation there. However, again, with mine on the right, it will pop off very easy, so just note that. No issue, again, no issue on the left arm with mine, but definitely that right arm, it pops off there at the bicep joint. He only has, he has a double hinged elbow, so he does have good bending at the elbow. And then he's got rotation there with the hands, and he's got the hinges on the hands. So pretty good movement there with the hands, up and down movement. He has a midsection joint. I don't think he has an ab crunch. It wouldn't matter. But he does have the midsection joint. So you can pivot. He doesn't really have ab crunch, but he can look forward a little bit. Not a whole lot, but he has a little bit of down movement there, and then a little bit of back movement. It is kind of hard. I will note that with this middle joint, it is kind of hard to get him to stand completely straight. The figure has a tendency to kind of lean to the left or the right here at this midsection. So not a major deal, but just wanted to note that. And then with the legs, he can do the splits about that much. You've got these rubber pieces that do limit some of that movement. So he can do the splits about that much. You can get the leg forward about that much, and then you can do the leg back about that much. You also have those joints up there high, so you do have rotation there. It's not what I would call a true thigh joint, but you do have rotation there, which is good. You have you only have single hinge knees, so he can only bend his knee about that much. Would have been nice if we'd gotten double hinge knees. You also have a boot cuff type swivel, so you do have rotation there. And then with the feet, you've got hinges, so up and down movement. and rotation. You don't really get ankle pivot, you just get the up and down and rotation. And again, with these ankle joints on mine, they are a little bit on the loose side, and that might get worse over time. And then you also get toe articulation with the figure, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So I gotta say, I think this is a really nice looking figure. I think McFarlane Toys did a really good job with the sculpting detail of it. I really like how the head sculpt looks and how the detailing on the skin looks. My issues with the figure come with the blue paint on the armor. It does seem to have a tendency to kind of rub off on things like your hands. Also with my figure at least, that right arm at the bicep joint falls off really easy, and that gets really that gets to be a pain really fast. And then one other thing I want to note with mine, because the figure is heavy, it definitely has a nice size to it, but it is a heavy figure, and with mine the ankle joints were a little bit loose right out of the packaging, and so with my figure at least it does have a tendency to fall over fairly easy. And this figure is being sold as a Target store exclusive. It is available now. I believe last time I checked it is currently available on the website. It had sold out for a little while, but I believe it is available again. And then it should be hitting physical stores as well, but I've yet to see it in any physical stores. I got mine from the Target website, so that would probably be my best recommendation if you want to try and get your hands on it. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the figure down in the comments section below, and if you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. You should also hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. Like the video if you're so inclined. Stay safe out there, guys, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.